Hi guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So in this video we will be working on a B9 RS5. So this car was actually delivered straight from the dealership to us, and the car was there for a couple of weeks, and the dealership come to the conclusion it needs a new engine. So the customer actually contacted us over the phone, and he requires straight away engine rebuild. We didn't even check the vehicle yet. So we have a budget of £17,000. That's how much he was quoted in Audi to replace the whole engine unit. As you probably know, 2.9 V6, hot turbos in the middle, twin turbo, and yeah, the car is not starting. It is cranking, which is good, but it will not fire up. So the owner actually told us he has some kind of immobilizer, which will be probably the first thing I want to remove, and he also told us he have a tune in the OBD tune box, something like that, which we are not really fan of, and that gotta be removed as well so we can get to the bottom of the issue. We didn't actually diagnose the car yet. The whole story is he was driving the car in a normal manner, and all of a sudden he had some limited RPM on the cluster, and afterwards he shut the car down, and since he didn't want to start. So we will start with the inspection of the engine first. We'll plug it on the diagnostic and we will see what fault codes we have, and we will go from there. Okay, so let's remove the cover of what we will see. We will see absolutely nothing. So the ECUs have a good access, that's fine, but the access to the spark plugs and coil packs looks a bit difficult, and we will have to check the compressions on the engine first, and we will actually try to turn it if the engine is cranking, and we will go from there. So we did have some aftermarket battery in the car which was dead, and this is the original battery, so that's dead as well. So probably first thing what we will do, we will recharge this battery because that's the correct battery for the vehicle, and we don't actually want to have any low voltage on any ECU because that might cause some issues as well. So next up we will charge the original battery.
A few moments later.
Okay, so we have the handle here for emergency neutral, and the car only done 47,000 miles, and this is what's actually going on. So even the RPM is not moving, but the engine is cranking, but it will not fire up. So hey, now the RPM did move, but it should move all the time. So as I mentioned on the beginning of the video, it is a bit of a difficult to actually get to the spark plugs and the coil packs, and we will have to remove the whole loom from the cylinder head and disconnect a few more connectors. So let's get to it. So this is as much a space what I can actually get to. Luckily the coil packs did came out, and the spark plugs as well. Just gonna do the compression test now. Okay guys, so we're done the compression test now on all 6 cylinders, and it makes me wonder why Audi told them they need a new engine, because even if the bottom end has damage, the bearing span, whatever, the engine gotta start, and it's not starting. It is cranking, we've got compression, but it's not firing up. And usually when you turn the engine like this, you should smell fuel, but there's absolutely nothing coming out from the combustion chamber. When there's no spark plug and I can't smell any fuel, so probably the injectors are dead, which is leading me to ECU. But before we get to the more expensive parts like ECU testing and changing, we will try to replace smaller components like the crankshaft sensor, so that will be the next step. And new spark plugs coming in. So we plug the car onto the VCDs now, and we will check the fault codes in the engine ECU. So we have some fault codes with the exhaust, and we also have a fault code with crankshaft and camshaft loss of synchronization. So probably 47,000 miles on the RS5, and maybe the timing is out. Okay. What I want to check is, so we have an engine RPM. Okay, let's try to crank the car now. So again, that is not moving, but on the VCDs is showing that the crank is actually spinning 200 RPM, but nothing shows on here, which is very interesting. So we will check the timing as well. Electrical system, low battery, absolutely amazing. So yeah, the timing didn't move, which is not helpful. But anyways, probably first thing, I'm gonna lift the car up, we will have a look from underneath what's going on, and probably I will try to replace the crankshaft sensor, because if that is not showing us the RPM on the cluster, it will probably not give the signal to the ECU to fire the engine up. So let's lift the car up now. Okay, so we removed the engine cover, and there's obviously an oil leak. So when the car was at the dealership, they drained the oil, and they were informing the owner that there was something in the oil which might be from internals, but we're gonna drain the oil anyways and have a look. This is our crankshaft sensor, which is easy to be replaced, so we will start with that one. We will get a new sensor just in case, and yeah, we will have to check the oil as well. We'll see what's inside there, but yeah, let's start with the crankshaft sensor.
Bruh.
We just draining the oil now, so I will check if there was actually enough oil in there, because the fault code with the crankshaft and camshaft incorrect coloration or synchronization, when I went to Rostech Wiki, it might be also because of low oil level, or even the oil level sensor might be faulty because it seems to be on one loom. We're gonna check the oil now, how much oil was actually in there, and then we might have a spare old sensor to actually try it, put it on there, and we'll see the result. Wow. Okay, so we have a new crankshaft sensor, and we drained the old oil, what you've seen, and we put fresh oil in there. So the amount of oil was correct, it was almost 7 liters what came out, so that is the correct level, I would say. So we definitely had enough oil, and I couldn't actually see anything in the oil like metal dust or something like that, so the engine internally will be cool. So let's try to start it. Hey, 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 hey. Engine speed 2,500 RPM. Okay, we have a new fault code. So Mr. VCDS. Okay, so meanwhile we are waiting for the tablet to be charged because the battery died again. I'm still thinking why actually Audi wanted to replace the whole engine, the whole unit, because all 6 cylinders have compression, almost the same. The engine is cranking fine. We didn't see anything in the oil which will be telling us that there is a metal dust or some bits from big end bearings or whatever. So I have no idea how they diagnose the car, but from our point of view so far what we've got here, there is not engine replacement. I wouldn't even actually try to remove the engine from the car to look for faults when mechanically it seems fine. So I personally think there will be something very funny, well, we have to get to the bottom of it. But unfortunately, we have a fault code right now on the cluster, which is cool, but we have to wait for the tablet. Let's wait for the tablet now, and we will see in a couple of minutes. So from the fault codes what we have in the VCDS now, that leads us to a camshaft position sensor, so we will replace the one camshaft position sensor on the cylinder head for a new one.
Nice.
Okay, so situation update number 25. So the camshaft position sensor on the exhaust bank 2, when it's disconnected it's working, when it's connected it's not working, so that will move us to another issue, maybe probably that this might be faulty. So we will try to swap left and right, see if it's possible, and if the problem will go from this exhaust camshaft to that exhaust camshaft, we know we need the new sensor on the back. So what we're looking at now is a camshaft adjuster along with the oil valve, which is the bolt the same time, and everything seems to be alright with it. Okay, so situation update number 2,050,875. So we swap this sensor with that sensor, and now we will try to start it, and if it won't start we will have to disconnect this sensor, and if it will run afterwards, that one is faulty. Too complicated. Same, not running, okay. Disconnect the sensor. Done, okay. Magic. Nope. So, what's the next step?
Nose.
Fixed. Done.
Done. Without running sensor.
Okay, so there's definitely not a problem with those two because we swap them, and it's definitely not faulty because we even disconnect this sensor and it didn't run. So unfortunately there will be a mechanical fault inside the engine. Okay guys, so that was a very lovely time with the RS5, diagnosing it for basically 2 days. We did spend some money on the sensors and some other stuff as well. Unfortunately we didn't manage to get to the bottom of the problem yet, but luckily we did manage to start the engine, which is a bit of a success. We're just gonna finish the video here because unfortunately we will have to remove the engine and check internally if something happened or not. We will see in the other video what actually happened to it, what will be the procedure to repair it, put it back on the road. Mirko, what do you think? There will be an issue?
I think there will be mechanical issue with some of the components in the car, so especially top hats. We don't know. It's definitely not taking readings from the camshaft or basically one of the sensors, so the camshaft probably will be faulty or something happened to the adjuster. We don't know yet.
We'll see.
Stay tuned for next video and we will find out.
Yeah. See you later guys.